Hello everyone and welcome to Victoria's Cantina. Today we're having a look at the Hasbro Jurassic World Dino Hybrid Spinosaurus. This is a repaint of the 2015 Bashers and Biters Spinosaurus toy. Packaging is the exact same thing we've seen time and time again. Side of the box says Jurassic World Hybrid Spinosaurus. Opposite side says the exact same thing. And at the back we get a render of the Spinosaurus, and that actually looks a little bit cooler than the actual toy. The toy doesn't look bad. I actually really like what I'm seeing here in terms of the coloration. This looks pretty cool. But there's no doubt that there's a trend going on. Whatever Hasbro shows on the back generally looks better. And it says you get chomping jaws, hybrid dinos battle for survival. There's a Spinosaurus, Jurassic World logo, Universal, Hasbro, and below other items that we've already reviewed here on the channel. So, okay, I'm going to take a few minutes to go ahead and get this out of the box. And when we come back, we'll take a closer look and see what this thing is like. Okay, you guys, now here is the Spinosaurus out of the box. I was never really a fan of the very first Jurassic World Bashers and Biters Spinosaurus. The sculpt was pretty bad, the paint was kind of weak, and it just looked like a zombie. Even though you get the exact same sculpt with this figure, the paint really makes the most out of the sculpt, and that's fantastic. What's also cool about this is that this looks quite a bit like its video game counterpart, especially in terms of the color scheme. And although I did feel that the sculpt was pretty weak to begin with, it actually looks so much better when the coloring is so much better. As with before, it is kind of in a little bit of an awkward sort of pose, with the head off to one side and tail up in the air. It looks a little bit weird. Go ahead and give you a close-up here of the head. And as with before, it still looks a little bit like a zombie. I mean, the teeth are just kind of weird. Like, there's not many teeth on the bottom. I don't know what's happening. I mean, it looks like they're broken off or something, doesn't it? It's just a very weird aesthetic. I'm not quite sure why they chose to go that route. The head itself looks okay. I mean, it looks like the Spinosaurus from Jurassic Park 3 to some degree. It is still a little bit too skinny and still looks a little bit awkward. And the teeth are a little bit big, at least the teeth that it has. But I mean, it seems to work okay. The eye looks pretty nice. It's like a red color, has some good detail to it. And again, just a really skinny looking head, but I mean, it seems to get the point across. And as far as sculpt work goes, it is very light. You're not going to see a whole lot here, but if you've seen the previous version, it still does look a little bit better. As far as the rest of the body goes, it actually looks pretty good this time. Last time it didn't look good. This time it does. Just the paint detail that they gave it really brings out the little there is to see in the sculpt, and that's quite nice. And I do like that. I mean, you can really see all of these lines here along the body and all of the sculpt work in the legs and even in the arms because of the vibrant paint scheme that it has. Even the tail, there's quite a bit of sculpt work in there, and you wouldn't see it otherwise without a paint scheme like this where you can really see all of those details. You still get the atrocious screw holes on the opposite side. That's nothing new. That's not anything too surprising at this point. And I mean, it looks pretty decent, especially with these colors. Yeah, the tail is too short and sticks up in the air, but it works. I do notice that the arms are a little bit loose, and I've gone to check out two of these guys already, and it was kind of the case on both of them, where, you know, the arms are just a little bit loose. On this figure, it's especially this arm right here. You know, as long as it doesn't fall off or anything, we should be okay. Like I said, I really do like the color scheme. I really like that look of the blue along with the red on there. I think that looks really nice. And then you have this more metallic sort of gold bronze color on the bottom. It really does look quite good. I mean, despite the fact that this sculpt really isn't the best, they probably made it as best as they could have just by giving it this really nice paint scheme. Get your dino damage there. You get your JW logo right there. There is a little bit of overspray here on the leg. Of the two that I saw, they both kind of had that. So it seems like maybe it's going to be an issue on some of these. It would have been nice if they would have continued this red color and the black striping all the way up the tail, but they didn't. I really like the way the fin looks, though, especially with that bright red paint. And then these really nice black stripes. I think that that's just a pretty nice aesthetic. I think that it works quite well. It's also quite cool that they painted the claws on it, both on the hands as well as the feet, and it's actually pretty clean paint, so that's nice. Now, in terms of the action feature, it's exactly the same as it was before. So essentially you're going to push down the tail and he's going to rear his head upward, and then you're going to pull it side to side. And then he does this sort of opening his mouth, roar sort of thing. It's an okay action feature. I think that this is probably one of the better ones for the bashers and biters that came last year. So it's not a bad thing that they kept it. In terms of articulation, like I said, same as before. So you can move those arms and you can move both of the legs. And as we saw before, it does kind of have this weird sort of thing where it's kind of standing on its heel, which I don't think would have been possible with this animal, but that's the way they did it. And I guess at least it's different. All right, ladies and gentlemen, so there you have it. This is the Hasbro Jurassic World Dino Hybrid Spinosaurus. Overall, it's really not that bad. I didn't really like the figure from last year, but this paint scheme really maximizes the minimum amount of work they did in the sculpt. I'm not really sure how it's a hybrid though. I mean, it just seems like a straight up Spinosaurus. There's not really anything to indicate that it has some other dino DNA in it. I would go back and check the game, except when I switched phones last month, I lost all my progress, so I don't have my game anymore. And I'm not gonna go through the trouble of building my park all over again. But yeah, I really like the paint scheme on this one, and it just really stands out and looks really good. And really takes a crappy looking dinosaur and makes it look pretty good. If you're collecting the Jurassic World dinosaurs or the Dino Hybrid line, then most likely you're going to want to add this one to your collection as well. If you're looking to upgrade from the previous version, well, at the very least, this is an upgrade, so that is a good thing as well. Alright my friends, I hope that you've enjoyed this video. If so, then do give us a like and subscribe. Let me know your thoughts down in the comments. Be sure to follow me on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. And as always, I want to thank you for tuning in to Victoria's Cantina. Until next time, my friends. Bye-bye.